Well, our moms think we're funny.
Well, here we are. Well.
No, you've already hit the record button?
I have.
Wow, that was fast. You really wanted to get the one started, huh?
Right? Yeah. How the turntables?
Oh, man.
So, how you feeling, Turk?
Oh, like sands through the hourglass.
Uh,
Oh,
hey, everybody. This is Acomi, along with my good friends.
hetero life, man.
My hetero life mate, Turk 182. Welcome to Our Moms Think We're Funny.
God, this is more like our moms think we're cringy.
My mom's seen this documentary. So, how you feeling, Turk?
No, explain to them what's got me, like, just completely, fucked.
So, I showed Turk a very interesting...
Forced me to watch.
I didn't force you to watch it.
'Cause you're a big guy and you're good with knots.
When they say no, no, what was it? When they say never, I hear now. That was it.
Like, I know my movies were bad, but I never forced anybody to sit down and watch them. And I could have, too, because I'm a big guy and I'm good with knots.
Oh, so I had Turk watch an interesting documentary on YouTube called Shy Boys, which, if you search Shy Boys on YouTube, it's, what, top search result?
Just about.
Yeah.
Well, but there's apparently a band called Shy Boys.
Yeah, so just avoid the just avoid the band and you got it. But yeah, so it's a documentary all about incels. And you guys know me. I make jokes about incels on this podcast all the time. So
Shy Boys, what you going to do when those women come after you? Run away! What you gonna do?
it was an experience. I've seen this before. This was Turk's first time, and he seems a bit traumatized. Not quite as bad as when we watched Mike and Melissa, but this seems to have done a number on you.
Okay, okay, well, explain to everyone what an incel is and what a shy boy is.
Okay, so
Because you ran this, so you are gonna do all the exposition, all the
Okay.
explanation. You're doing all that shit. I'm just gonna sit there and just fucking fume.
It's very simple. An incel is an involuntary celibate. It's somebody who, no matter how much they approach women and ask them out and try to win over women, they're always consistently rejected 100% of the time. Some of whom have been rejected over 3,000 times between real life encounters and the internet, right?
That's what he said.
And the love shy people are people who are just too terrified of the idea of approaching and being in a relationship to ever even initiate conversation with somebody. So it's not that they're consistently rejected, it's that they never even initiate to ask. So this documentary follows the lives of three people. There is Michael, who is the owner and the moderator of the website loveshy.com. That's love-shy.com.
Why can't these people gonna go to that?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna hear us and they'll be like, I'm gonna stay the fuck away from that. I'm surprised you didn't. And I'm gonna be like, exactly.
Get a membership today, folks. There is a guy named Advanced who
Is not.
you wanna take a number here describing Advanced, Turk, because you had some fairly descriptive terms for him.
You say something about he mentioned something in there and I didn't hear it. Maybe it's because I was just running my mouth off of. He's a guy that keeps talking about how ugly he is and how like he. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what's wrong with Advanced. One thing, he looks like a fucking woman, right? And I mean, this guy, as he is, looks more like a woman than like Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, and he's had no surgery. He's not taking any hormones or anything. And I'm not trying to make fun of Caitlyn Jenner. I'm just saying, like, he looks more like a woman. If he put on lipstick and some, like, rouge or whatever, I mean, he would be like, oh wow, where'd that chick come from? Why how come he didn't date her? Is that his sister? Like, oh shit, that's him. I mean, he's this. But he keeps talking about how ugly he is and how he's like he shoots for like the bottom of the barrel women.
Yeah, he
Ugly
says
women,
that he,
fat women,
yeah.
and when he constantly remarks on fat women, fat women, fat women, and he's like, because those are the only ones I could possibly get, but then I can't even get them.
He says he's an expert on fat women. He knows more about fat women than anybody else on the planet.
Yeah, it's
So I think, we'll talk about the last guy, but then there's something that I think warrants us bringing up.
So the reason I mention his looks is because
He's obsessed with his looks.
he is, and he keeps talking about how ugly he is, and I'm like, he's not an attractive guy from my perspective. But then I'm not looking at him for trying to date him or anything else. I'm like, look at him. He looked like a woman to me. He looked like I don't know. He had some very soft feminine features,
Yeah.
which can work for guys if they try to in some way to take care of themselves.
Right,
And I think
right.
that's the bottom line for him at least, is that he's not really doing anything to try and really kind of like look his best. It's more of like, I'm ugly, I'm this, and I can't ever do any better, so I'm just not even going to try any
Right,
way
right.
to make myself look nice. And I don't know. He's got all kinds of problems, and this whole thing of like, I go for the ugliest women. I mean, first off, if you don't find a woman attractive, then okay, you find a woman attractive. If you find a woman a little attractive or whatever it is, but to say I purposely go for women that I'm not attracted to,
Yeah.
because they're the only ones I think I can get. I'm like, I don't. You really don't understand the concept of anything that you really want. You don't
Right.
know what you want,
Right.
except for you feel like you're missing out on something, and you're lonely in some way.
I think it's very, very similar to Christian in that it is something that they're just they're tying up their self-worth into in doing this. That it's like, oh, I can't be, a real man or an adult or whatever it is that they're thinking. It's like, until I do this, then I'm not a complete person, basically.
Right. And I mean, here's a prime example of someone that's getting in their own way. If all he wanted to do was just get laid, he could do that. He could just go out there and he could get laid. If he's looking for a relationship, he could do that maybe too, if he were to put himself out there as, here's what I have to offer, and here's who I am, and it may not happen right away. It may not happen for a long time, but you have to really you have to really understand who you are, be comfortable with who you are, and then after that, I don't want to say the rest comes easy, but as long as you're still struggling with who you are, then you're not a complete picture. It's like trying to watch it's like trying to watch a movie, where we're watching a movie and the signal keeps getting interrupted with something else,
Right,
and it
right.
keeps going in and out. It keeps flipping back and forth between like what you're trying to watch and like the other thing. That's kind of how his life is, and people see that and they look at that and be like, okay, I can't get a clear picture of who you are. Every time I think I'm saying it, I'm saying something else. So it's I'm not gonna say it's not attractive. It's just it's too confusing for me to try to be like, okay, take my time or waste my time trying to figure out who you are, and then from there decide whether or not I'm interested.
Right, right. And it's very weird with all of these guys, which we haven't talked about the third guy yet, but with all of these guys, what I see is they have no self-worth. They're not confident at all. But at least two of these three guys are just extremely arrogant and act and function like they're really hot shit.
Yep.
And so, on the one hand, it's like, oh yeah, I'm so great, I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, but I'm ugly, I just can't get a girl. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't get it. The one guy,
Urban
Michael.
White. Oh, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael just seems like a regular guy who just doesn't have any like self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And some depression. I think he needs to see somebody about the depression.
I would agree. I mean, here's a guy that's had a girlfriend, and I think that he doesn't get in his way as much as Advanced does, or as much as UWT does.
Yeah. Urban White trash for those wondering.
Um, he doesn't get in his way as much as those in his own way as much as those guys do, but he is someone that is putting his own stumbling blocks out there, and saying like he's putting his own hurdles out there and be like, I can't move forward because like I've got all these obstacles in my way. It's like, but they're obstacles that you put there for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, from what I can gather, what we talked about, from what I can gather in this like documentary when they show him, here's a guy that has a job, unlike Advanced, and I don't know about UWT, but has a job. Seems like he owns his own home,
Seems like it. Yeah.
and so he's got he's got the building blocks for someone that is independent and capable of taking care of himself, and basically just needs to I don't I hate to say believe in himself, but basically just has to be like, oh hey, I do have something to offer.
Okay, Parappa.
Well,
Gotta believe.
one thing I know, whenever I go into the bathroom, I always choose a toilet on the left.
Oh yeah. It'll bring you luck.
Yeah, so give it up. So, but he needs to realize that he has something to offer to someone, and it may not be okay. So I'm going to wipe all that stuff I said away, and I'm going to say this: is there is what you want, and not what you can have, but what is good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, so you and I talk a lot about like women we think are hot or whatever, and blah blah. Like okay, for example, we did an entire podcast on like the crazy women that we would do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we would probably die. That's a lot of fun, but honestly, I'm not going to have sex with some chick that might get me killed just for the sake of having sex with because I'm like she is so hot that I'm going to no that's not necessary. That's not necessary at all.
I mean, yeah, me neither.
Fucking liar. But no, I mean, that's fun. And we talk about, I was like, oh, dude, like you have a big thing for Anna Kendrick. You love Anna Kendrick.
Oh yeah.
So much. But to be perfectly honest, you don't know anything about her.
Not at all. No.
No, and
She could be a terrible person. For all I
right.
know.
And because of that, it's like you may like her a lot, may think she's really, she's funny when you see her in interviews, she's attractive, but when it comes down to it, would she be the right person to have in your life? Maybe not.
We're from two very different worlds. Like,
Exactly.
Speaking realistically, throwing away like all the comedy and the horn dog persona, we are from two very different worlds.
And I think that's the problem with these guys is they're looking at something, and they don't mention in there, I'm sure, but there's a lot of pornography that's being watched amongst those guys.
Not from Urban White Trash.
But they're looking at something, you're like, that's what I want. But all they're looking at is they're looking at the I guess the pseudo positive of like, oh, a girl that looks like this, or and that's really what it boils down to is like this. I want a girl that looks like this.
Yeah.
But they don't look at like, I want a girl that's going to nurture this side of me. These are conversations you and I have had where it's like, yes, we even had that with the one kind of like challenge question that we did where it was we asked ourselves like about like kind of deal breaker things.
Oh yeah, Meatloaf's Gambit.
Right, and it's like what would it be is like where if she was everything but like this, or
Right.
like what if you had a girl like let's say you had like Anna Kendrick, she was everything that you wanted, that everything you thought that she would be,
Right.
except like when it came to like like making comics, she was just like, I think you're wasting your time. Not that you're not talented, I just think that's like a stupid field to be in.
Right, right.
Could you be with her?
I don't think I could because, and we've talked about this a lot. That's not an area that I can just turn off. You know,
Right.
that's not a part of my personality that I can just walk away from because it's so central to who I am.
So when you look at that and these guys and you're like, okay, so what is that you need in your life? Not just take away all, the cosmetic aspect of it and take away all this, like, I want a girl that looks like this, but what is that you really need in your life? What do you need in your life that you need for a partner, an actual partner? That's not just a woman to have sex with a partner to nurture within you, to bring out the best. So I'm gonna talk about someone, and I'm gonna be very, very generic about it. But Stacks.
Okay.
Knowing Stacks the way I do, he is very much a homebody when he doesn't have a reason to, like, some people they're just extroverts and they just go out, they'll find a reason to go out and do something.
Right.
But he could be just as content just being at home. When he met his now, wife, one of the things that he found attractive about her, was that she was the opposite of him in certain ways, being that she was very much an extrovert. And he needed that. He needed someone that was going to get him to go out more often, to go out and do these things. That he wasn't unwilling, but he just didn't really have a desire or a need to on his own.
Right.
And so that balance there was something that he recognized he needed and appreciated and welcomed in her. Not just, because he could have found another homebody and that would have been great, but he recognized that there was something there that would have still been missing, because there's a whole world out there that I'm not exploring that I could be. And it's not that there's like an inner desire in me to do that, but I know there's more out there that I could be doing. And it's just that I don't really have the desire to make myself do it. And if I have another person just like me, they're not doing it either.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that I could be missing out on, that I would very much enjoy.
Right.
So
right.
having someone that will kind of pull you, and not unwilling, but will kind of give you that motivation, just that oomph to, like, let's go, was something he knew he needed.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that these guys don't recognize that. They don't see that. Like, what is it? Who are you? What do you need in another person to, I don't want to say complete, but to really kind of
enrich your life?
Thank you.
I think that any good relationship, it has to be adding something to what you have. So, yeah, no, I agree with that assessment.
And also, just real quick, and looking at that also from the other side is like, what do I have to offer someone else that would provide to them the same thing that the same kind of enrichment that they're providing to me.
Right. In other words, what can I add to their life?
Right.
So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think you're right. I think Michael is, just a normal guy who just needs a little push in the right direction. I think that both Advanced and Urban White Trash are just train wrecks, honestly. And I want to make it clear that I didn't set off for us to do this episode to bully them, and I don't think we have been. But I mean, they're just not self-aware, which we haven't talked about. Urban White Trash. Urban White Trash considers himself a pickup artist in training,
which is something he's completely made up. It's not something that exists. Like, the first way he starts talking about it, it is almost as if he was like, oh yeah, there's a whole group of pickup artists out there, and and they're teaching me how to no longer be an incel by becoming a pickup artist. It's like, no, this is something he's completely made up on his own.
Right. Yeah. And he's it's hard to say. He really objectifies women a lot, but so does Advance. But Advance is also very, fixated on the flawed women and the fat chicks and yada yada yada. Um, I think probably my favorite part. This kind of does kind of push it into the realm of bullying a little bit, but I think my favorite part of this entire documentary was when Advanced was like, I would do anything, even for an ugly fat white chick. I would fight on the front lines of the bloodiest battle and come home with no arms and no legs if it guaranteed me an opportunity to be with a fat white chick. Which I really want that quote on a shirt.
What I thought was funny about that and what really caught my eyes, here's a guy who's so desperate to be with a woman. He's like, I would do anything, and I would even come back a scarred, disfigured human being who at that point would be completely dependent on whoever it is that he was with, right. Not having any arms or legs.
It's the Black Knight. All right, we'll call it a draw.
He changed his name to Matt. Sorry, that's that old joke. What do you call the guys with arms and legs? Yeah. Anyway,
I got you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good. Because I love explaining things to people that don't need them explained to them. But he was very specific that it had to be a fat white chick.
Right. Yeah.
That stood out to me. I was like, wow. Because if he was after fat black, she's like, send me back to the war.
Right.
Put me back on the front line.
A skinny Asian girl. They told me it'd be like this when I got out of the army.
I went to war for my country. I sacrificed my arms and legs. That's what I get.
Why is he Rocky when he wins the belt? I just want to thank God, because without him, none of this would be possible.
I just want to be fat white.
But then you've got urban white trash who wants to basically kidnap incels and force them into pickup artist training camps and
which is working out so well for him.
Fantastically so, I might add. But then he's terrified of vaginas.
Yes.
And they show him Googling vaginas, and then he just looks at the laptop and screams and almost throws it off of his lap. It's like, I can't look at this! I hate it! It's so weird! And it's like, how do you think you can be a pickup artist, dude?
Yeah, there's no way that you could ever be with a woman and not see that eventually.
Right, yeah.
I'm
it's
like,
so weird.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really know what this guy is like. What's he about? I don't think he really understands what being with a woman entails. And again, okay. Have you ever gone to have something to eat and you smell it like whoa, that does not smell good, right? But actually, something that you eat it, it's it tastes really good. But sometimes the initial smell, it's like whoa, I caught a whiff of that. And it's the combination of odors.
Yeah, broccoli is that way for me.
Yeah. Broccoli can stink.
Yeah, I love the taste, but the stink is just unreal.
How many times have you looked at something and it was just completely unappetizing? I mean, you look at there is no way in the hell that does not look good at me at all.
Man, every time I go to Arby's, man.
But I'm still gonna stick my dick in it.
I mean, I always stick my dick in my Arby's. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I know you guys make Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm gonna whip those potatoes, baby. But no, seriously, how? I
always tell the cashiers at Arby's when I get it, it's like, yeah, now I got a sandwich I'd like to fuck. That's for sure, man.
Give me some of that horsey sauce.
I like the tingle.
But I mean, no, it's I wouldn't eat a dish that was not visually appetizing to me. So how in the world would you somehow engage in sexual activity something that you can't stand to look at? How would you even touch it? You cover your hands and reach out like a blind man, tapping along her thigh or leg. You're like, am I there yet? It's warm. He is a train wreck all into himself.
He is.
Especially talking about hot chicks and when his beautifully hand drawn and rose art crayon colored. Those were not Crayolas, by the way. That was definitely rose art. Crayon colored, brochure for how to be a was it UAP?
PUA.
PUA.
But it was for the Dud to Stud boot camp.
Yeah, the Dud to Stud boot camp.
I also want the Dud to Stud logo on a shirt.
The Dud to Stud boot camp. And the hot chicks that he showed, both of them were smoking cigarettes.
Right.
So that is something that he somehow identifies with. Here's what a hot chick is. She's a girl.
Cruella de Vil cigarette holder at that.
So his whole idea of women and like what a woman is basically like R trashy on like subreddit. Like,
R trashy.
I have just introduced a whole bunch of people, and that's like a whole new subreddit that exists. Yes, every subreddit exists.
It does. Yeah. It's not often that I go down the Reddit rabbit hole, but every time I do, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. So. But yeah, he's got his own set of problems, especially when he thinks that he is like the idea of like masculinity and studliness.
Yeah.
Doing things like man spreading and trying to look all laid back and cool.
With his NASCAR hat and his wraparound sunglasses.
But yet he's still a virgin.
Right.
So obviously, like none of what he's saying works for him, but yet he's trying to teach Michael how to dress and how to get a woman.
Yeah, man, you gotta wear Converse and 33 pants, alright? Get these in 33s, alright?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, that would be like me like learning like advanced calculus from someone who dropped out of school in the 9th grade. But like, no, this is how you're supposed to do that. But like, what? I'm gonna get a guy from like Slovenia to teach me how to like like conjugate a verb in English. Like that's you don't really know how to do that yourself, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
So, and I do want to say, I'm not making fun of advanced or urban because they're virgins. Like that's not what gets me about them. It's their arrogance.
Right.
Like, if they weren't, like, cocky douchebags, then it would just be like Michael, where it's like, no, you seem like a nice guy, I feel bad for you, and I hope you get what you want out of life. But these guys, it's like, no, you're not God's gift to humanity. You're actually kind of a prick, and you kind of need to realize that you don't know what you're talking about, yeah?
Oh, the best part was, Michael just kind of just wants someone in his life. Really.
Yeah. It's
Advance,
it's not even about sex for him, it's just loneliness.
Yeah, Advance wants an ugly fat woman. I mean, he's like he really is the epitome of I'm gonna complain about this stuff and anything that's horrible. That's why would anybody want that? But it's secretly that's what you want. You just don't feel comfortable just saying it on your own.
Like most of the shit I make fun of on this show, yeah, I feel called out.
and then UWT. First off, his name pretty much kind of says exactly who and what he is, but
yes.
UWT, his whole deal, he never really says what it is he wants, except he does say that when he's talking to Michael, he's like, what do you want? You want like a relationship? You want someone that you can connect with? And that's funny to him. It's like,
you want someone who loves you for you?
Right, it's like, all you really want is just to get laid, but you have no idea what that's about or what that means or anything else. It's like everything that they know about women and relationships and sex all came from like a really bad movie.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I've seen Brazzers videos with more depth of like relationships and people.
Kevin, but you're my brother-in-law.
Like, why that one again?
Because it always gets this reaction from you. If it didn't bother you so much, I wouldn't do it. But
I don't understand.
But Kevin, what's Mom gonna say?
Mom's got nothing to say about this. She's dead. You see how I changed that around to from dusk to dawn thing? But no. So I think that's interesting is that Michael at least has some kind of idea of what he wants, which is that he wants a relationship.
Yeah. And he's even self-aware enough to say, what I'm looking for, I'm not going to get from these guys.
Right. And even as he says to Advance, he's like, I don't think you and I are looking for the same type of woman.
Right.
And UWT has no idea of like what he wants except for he wants to.
He wants a chick whose vag is parallel to his dick.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. Why? How would he know since he can't look at it anyway? But I was going to say, and I'm going to be crass here, he just wants to get his dick wet.
Yeah.
But he has no idea what that means.
Right, yeah.
It's, I mean, he's very confused about like who he is and what he wants. He and Michael both are just, they have no idea about anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's really kind of weird. And you said that Advance says something.
Oh, that he wants to be a hot androgynous Korean guy.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, I wanted to point it out, but you were making some observation when it came up. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head that Advanced is sexually confused.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because like he shows this Photoshop thing of like how he would change himself to look like super handsome, and it just makes him look even more like a chick.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's like one good glamour shot away from being a hot chick. and I'm not saying I was attracted to him, but when you look at him, it's like, yeah, the way he's got the lip curvature and the cheekbones, and even like the way it shows his hair being done,
and the eyes like slanted up with like big eyelashes. Yeah, no, he definitely made himself not even androgynous. He made himself look very feminine there.
Right, very much so. Yeah, I mean, he's a makeover, and he would be having that whatever that surgery is, and then learning how to properly use makeup. He would be UWT's perfect woman. I think they've found each other. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm really not being funny. I'm honest. If that happened, I bet you UWT watched documentary. He saw that picture and he was like, "That's the girl I'm looking for."
Just inexplicably gets a boner.
Right.
Because that's the thing. It's like it's like I would feel for them so much more if they just weren't so cocky about everything, and it's so annoying. Just like that scene where Advanced is like talking about how he has to talk fast because he has to come across as intelligent as possible.
And the woman says, "No, you can talk slow and still come across as smart." And he's like, "No, you can't."
Right. Yeah.
You're just a dumb bitch. You know what you're talking about. He's like,
yeah. Did you hear
dumb
that?
Dumb bitches talk slow.
Did you hear that whole scene in the hotel room when they were like giving the sound guy down the road?
Mm-hmm.
They tell the sound guy, "Oh, you're a feminist." He's like, "No, I just think that women are people too." And they're like, "See, that's your problem. If you think that, that's bullshit. You're deceived." And it's like, you guys just you don't know what you're talking about.
And please explain to everyone listening just how hot the sound guy is.
They sure seem to think so. Both Advanced and Urban refer to him as a pretty boy and constantly talk about his looks. His name is Kevin the sound guy. And just like multiple times throughout the documentary, they're like, "Yeah, man, I can't get women. Not like Kevin over there, but he's just swimming with women, right, man? Yeah, Kevin, I bet you're just crushing puss all the time, aren't you, bud?" It's like, poor Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin's got a Justin Bieber haircut.
Yep.
And
Mungo Jerry mutton chops.
Yeah.
And what else? I mean, he wears a polo shirt, but yeah, no, I mean they were just like fixated on him, which is kind of strange, yeah. And I do have to say, the girl who did the documentary, Sarah, what was it? Shit.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I know her first name's Sarah, so my apologies. Big shout out to you for the documentary. But like she's quite attractive. She's fairly
pretty cute.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that the first time I showed her, though, it was upside down.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, we're doing like a Spider-Man kiss here? What's going on? See, look at me with those eyes, Sarah. It's like, I don't respect you as a person because you're a woman. But
yeah,
no, I'm joking.
It's funny because they do say shit like that, and they do like exhibit hostility towards women, and like it's like they're not even aware that like here this is a woman you're talking to.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And then Michael goes and meets with his ex-girlfriend. They don't say why they broke up. It's just that it's his ex-girlfriend.
She does kind of explain that because she said that she kissed him and he didn't reciprocate, and so she felt rejected.
Well, I thought that was just the first time because the first time that they kissed that happened. I didn't realize that was a kind of an ongoing thing. I mean that was like it. Like that she kissed him after dating for a while, and he didn't reciprocate, so she ran off, and that was it.
That was how I interpreted it. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, no, Michael is definitely depressed. He makes several references to killing himself and like wishing he'd never been born.
In front of other people too, not just on camera, but you know. And there's a scene where he walks by the the wedding couple.
That was yeah, yeah.
And I think there was a lot of jealousy in that. Like he was kind of like they were sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? We're which I don't know if they were just getting wedding pictures done, if they were waiting for everyone else because no one else there.
Right. Yeah.
But he kind of walks by them almost as if they're not there, and I think that's a lot of contempt and jealousy for like here's two people who have found each other, and it's not something I have.
Right. Yeah.
And I like. And I can't even be happy for them.
Right, yeah.
Which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say that I've never been not there in that point, but where I've been like yeah, God, is like look at this asshole right here, you know, like I not in the same fashion, but I'm like yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't feel sorry for you with all your goddamn money. You're just buying anything you want.
You're just referring to Christina Hendricks' husband.
Ex-husband.
Ex-husband. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you shot your loss. Wah, wah, wah. Guess what, buddy? Those schnozberry taste like nothing because you don't have them anymore.
I sure hope she doesn't have a type, though, because otherwise we're just up shit creek.
I don't know, man. I can get close to getting like a curly Jufro than you can.
There's that. Curly Jufro.
I don't know if he was gay. He just had curly hair. It's just, but yeah. But no, I'm seeing a guy, and I'm like, oh, look at you. You think you're so special just because you get full tank of gas in your car. I'm like, fuck you.
Oh, look at me. My name's Richard, Mr. Rich Millionaire who fills his gas up every week.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about checking my account before I go buy pizza. And it's like, I can buy 4 whenever I want to. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So I'm like 4 for 4. I'm like, I'm waiting for them to cut that shit in half. And then I can eat for a week. Just 5 fries a day. That's enough. I live off the Gandhi diet.
Yeah, Gandhi ate fries.
No, I'm just saying, like, I purposely, like, I find shit to, like, protest. That way I can be like, you're not eating this week? No, not until they stop those fires in Australia. Be like, they stop those fires, you can eat this week? No, there's too much injustice in the world. Like, you're broke, aren't you? Fuck you. No, I just care about the environment. Damn it.
Convicted.
Of course I'm broke, bastard.
So, yeah, can we talk about some bullshit with the Australia fires?
I guess we can. Are we done talking about these guys?
Well, in some small ways, it might kind of connect.
Okay.
I mean, we can go back to these guys, but...
Do we have to?
I mean, it depends. You were the one who were like, oh, are we done talking about it already?
I'm trying to keep us on track for once.
Oh, but no, the whole thing with... Did you see the thing with the Instagram model who, like, raised... like 90,000, I think it was. Or no, it was a lot. It was more money than Amazon raised by sending nudes to whoever contributed money to Australia. Did you hear about this whole thing?
No.
I don't know the girl's name, but she basically put out the announcement, if you donate at least $10 to Australia, send me a screenshot of that, I'll send you a nude. For every $10 you do, you get a different nude. And it's not like she's...
Were they of her?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, her neighbors her.
I don't know.
No, she just spies on all of her neighbors in the cul-de-sac.
Because she could just pull some shit off the internet.
But yeah, no, I mean, she raised shit tons of money. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I mean, it was more money than Amazon donated. And so none of this money's going to her. What she's saying is donate the money and send proof that you donated it. So she's not She's not selling this stuff. It's not, it's not of any profit to her. And Instagram deactivated her account. Her family disowned her. Her boyfriend dumped her. All this crazy shit. Just because it's like she had a specific area in which she knew that she could successfully help the cause.
So I just want to make sure that so she probably took like 20 nudes
Probably.
and then just sent those 20 nudes out there, and people were like, okay, you've already got nude package A,
Right,
so now
right.
you send me another screen. Here's B, and then like everyone's first like donation, they all get picture A.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the case.
You're an Instagram model, and apparently you have enough followers that you can do this, and you make your entire Instagram like living, right? I'm not saying that her career, whatever, right?
Right.
But you make your entire Instagram living off of just taking pictures of yourself and posting them online, and your boyfriend's like, "You bitch, how dare?" Like, what? You don't really. So
Right? Yeah.
So I'm gonna I told you about the podcast I listened to, Holly Randall's podcast.
Yeah.
So Holly Randall is a adult film director. She's actually second generation adult film director. Her mom used to be a director like back in I guess the 70s, 80s, maybe into the 90s.
I did not know that about her.
Yeah. So anyway, and she was talking to I can't. Was it Jaden Cole maybe? Anyway, and she was talking about this guy that she met, and she fell in love with him. They were dating, and then she went to visit. I think he was British, and she went over to see his family or whatever. I think it was overseas, and member of his family looked her up by her real name and found the connection between her and what she did. This guy knew the entire time what she did,
Right.
and in my knowledge, I think that she only does girl. I don't think she ever did girl guy. Anyway, and this guy was very supportive of this whole thing. But as soon as his family found out, he turned against her. And when he broke up with her, like via text or whatever, was
That's
that
manly.
he said things like, I feel sorry for you, and that you're a broken person, you're such a whore, and blah, blah. And she was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Right.
Why are you projecting on me all this stuff just because your family found out and you're not brave enough to be able to say, fuck you, I love this woman, or I like her, or whatever it is.
Right,
So
right.
instead, you're going to turn on me as if I hid something from you, knowing the whole time that who I was, what I did, and you were supportive of it and accepting, but now you're not.
Right, yeah.
And this woman's boyfriend sounds like the same kind of piece of shit that is like, well, wait a minute now. I was okay with you taking pictures and knowing that anybody that's looking at them is basically like looking at them and like, I'm either fantasizing about you in some way or I'm getting some kind of stimulation, whether I'm, pleasuring myself to it or not. I'm looking at that and being, oh man, hot damn, I wish I had me a chick like that or whatever
Right,
it is. Or,
yeah.
oh boy, look at those goodies. But just the fact that I decided I'm going to send a nude, not like me, like I'm going to send you this nice spread eagle shot or whatever,
And the thing is, like, it's not even a personalized thing, It's not like you have any kind of connection with the person you're sending it to.
right.
It's just,
I'm raising money
This
for
is just
something that's important.
Yeah.
Because what is it like? I think like 1 billion animals were killed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's anyway. And so now you're going to turn on me?
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. And, like, also fuck her family, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like... And even if you don't necessarily approve of that, you don't disown somebody, especially when their motivation is trying to do something good here.
Right.
It's not like she's pocketing this money herself. It's like this is donating to something that's very desperately needed.
If she was like, I'm sorry, I need crack and heroin, and if you decide that you're gonna no, or like please, I'll send you a picture for every 5 OxyContin pills you send me. I mean, that's completely different,
Right, yeah.
And then for Instagram to shut her down when they didn't shut down any of like the Fire Festival people or any of that bullshit right
yeah,
there.
Yeah. So fuck Instagram too.
And
I have
again,
a very real problem with that.
she didn't ask them to. I mean, she didn't ask them to send her money.
Right.
She just said, show me proof, and I will send you this, not connected to Instagram at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is the problem, is that you're raising money that they're not getting a piece of.
Yep.
And that's what it is. Like, oh, you raise all this money, we don't get any of it, and you're using our platform to bring awareness to something and bring money to something that we don't get any of? How dare you?
I think most of what she did was through Twitter, actually. I'm pretty sure that that was like a tweet and that it was all like Twitter private messages. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I don't know. It's just like it's just it's a damn shame that that's like people's first response here. You know that it's like just what the hell, people? Come on. We should be past that at this point in history.
I think you and I have had conversations with things like, would you ever date a porn star or something like that? And I feel comfortable enough with myself that I could. My only concern is that, no matter how clean they are on the set, you may not get AIDS, but there's other shit you could catch.
Right, yeah.
That I wouldn't be too cool with, because if we broke up, I still got that shit, and I wouldn't feel too cool about trying to hook up with somebody else, and then knowing that I could possibly spread that to them or whatever. So it's like, if we're in this for life.
Right, yeah.
If something goes wrong and we end up creating a connection, we're connected. This ain't going nowhere. Which would probably lead to them like killing me so they can break up with me.
That's largely how I feel too.
I feel secure enough to be like, I can separate a job from, whatever it is. This is the job you do, and this is that. Now, granted, be like, oh yeah, you're with that guy again? That's fantastic. But, I don't think I would feel any more insecure than I would anywhere else. And to think that this kind of shit, I've worked at several jobs where people around me didn't take off their clothes to have sex for a living. They just worked in jobs and were still hooking up with other people,
right? Yeah,
and stuff. So it's not like it's more prevalent here just because you're naked than anywhere else,
right? Yeah. The last two jobs I had before this one, supervisors, not ones directly over me, but supervisors in positions above me were having affairs, and it's extremely common. So it's like it's not like it's a porn exclusive field where this happens,
right? So being secure in that kind of stuff. If you're with someone like that, in like an Instagram model or whatever, you have to feel secure in these things. And basically, what it boils down to is, you really have to just trust the other person.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter whatever the relationship is, you have to trust the other person.
Right.
I mean, okay, so you and I are good friends, and I trust you. We're not in any kind of relationship, right? But I trust you. I have to trust you, it's to earn trust, but I have to trust you to a certain extent for any of the stuff that we do. Mm-hmm. Even like the things that the collaborations that we do, whether it's the books or whatever. Yeah. I have to trust you and be like, hey, we're partners in this, equally. Or, hey, I'm going to share this thing with you. You come over to my house and stuff, like, oh, yeah, come on over and everything. I'm not home from work yet. Go ahead and let yourself in. And, there's a level of trust there. And there's different levels of trust depending on, on what your relationship is with the other person. But if you can't trust that person, to whatever that particular extent is,
right,
then you just don't need to be with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what their job is or what their role is or whatever. You just have to trust them. And if you can't do it, then you're really doing a great disservice to that person.
Right, right.
Because you're really saying that I don't love you enough.
Right, yeah.
So, and if that person has not earned your trust, again, you don't really need to be with them.
Right, yeah.
If you're holding on to them for whatever reason, then that's not the right thing. And I'm not trying to be all, Oprah here, or, Dr. Phil or whatever. But it's just, that kind of stuff is just crazy. That whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, all of it is like a damn shame, because it's like...
I'm telling you right now, if she's a fucking Instagram model, your ass is so replaceable. So replaceable. I mean, there are people that have been waiting in the wings for you to take a bow. Bye.
Come on, men. He's out of the picture.
I mean, I mean, don't forget, there are a lot of female Instagram models. Mm-hmm. There are also a lot of male Instagram models.
I wouldn't know, but I would assume so, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, obviously there has to be, right? Yeah. There would have to be. So... just
it's all very bizarre to me. But yeah, no, I just wanted to transition away from the Shy Boys for a minute to talk about that because that like
To talk about someone that they know intimately would never be able to have.
right.
I wonder how much they donated to the Australian fires.
I donated over $1,000 to the Australian wildfires. That gives me 100 nudes. But yeah,
And then when I got them all and I looked at it, I realized that she wasn't fat, and so I just trashed them all. I actually burned them in protest.
camera pans over to his smoldering laptop.
Like, I got them because of a fire, and I got rid of them because of a fire.
Oh god, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that documentary. That was the documentary.
It was.
You know, I'm gonna say it's not really a documentary. I'm gonna say it was a segment of the life of these unfortunate people
Yeah.
who could all benefit from
From
some kind of counseling.
PUA boot camp.
I will say that I think there's something deeper with UWT, something deeper within him that I think will probably go back to like his upbringing, to where there's a and I don't want to say it's toxic masculinity because I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of an idea of self-worth that was probably passed to him from either older brothers or father or something that said, you know, you're a man, you know, and then men do this, and this is how women are treated, or like, you know, that's all they're good for, or whatever, and that's what he thinks, and so he feels like less of a man because he can't or hasn't been able to achieve that,
Yeah.
which then just becomes this this spiraling like thing of like I'm never good enough, and I still can't prove my worth, and as every day that goes by, I'm becoming less and less of a man because I can't do this thing that I'm supposed to have done.
Right, yeah. So let me just do like a Bats diner scene here and just kind of like spitball like my take on this guy's past. I don't think his dad was in the picture. I don't think he had a strong male role model in his life, and I don't think he had a good relationship with his mother. Because he definitely doesn't respect women.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, I think he had a bad relationship with the only parent who was in the picture, and I don't think he has a standard of how does a man act in order to act masculine. So all he has is this bizarre, idealized, like twisted caricature of it that he picked up off the internet. That's just my hot take on it, and I could be totally wrong about that, but that's what I see when I look at him.
There's a song by Lupe Fiasco, who I think I've mentioned on the show before how much I really like his stuff. There's a song that I'm sorry, we just got to pause for a minute here.
For those wondering, Turk is fawning over the G.I. Joe Mobile Command Center.
I used to have a mobile command center. I used to have that mobile command center.
That's really cool.
It opened up.
That exact one you gave it to this channel.
No, that one they showed.
Yeah.
It opened up and had 3 levels to it. One was like the motor pool, like repair area. Then there was another section that was like communications, and like a kind of war room area. Then the top part was like the battle area. So you had like the weapons and stuff like that in the armory. And then you would all stack all up together and it would roll out. And it was put in storage when I moved after high school, and it was in storage for a long time until I got a house that I could get all the stuff out of storage.
Right.
And the area that it was in a friend's garage, which was not as self-contained as we were led to believe. And some squirrels had gotten into it and had gotten into my mobile command center and had made a nest inside. And because of the way the command center was designed, you could store stuff in there. So I had a lot of my figures, my G.I. Joe figures, in there when I closed it up. So the squirrel got in there and chewed up a lot of my figures.
Oh God.
And because they made a nest of it, they urinated and defecated and everything all over it. And I tried to save some of the figures by creating a bleach solution. I let them soak in that for a long time. Of course, the bleach then in some cases like ate down the rubber bands in them, so a lot of them kind of split in half and stuff. And of course, it also rusted some of the screws in them.
Right.
And then you have some characters that were just completely they were just mauled up. The command center itself could not be saved and had to be thrown out. So looking at that, it was just like, I used to have that. And, I mean, yeah, it's a part of my childhood and all that kind of stuff. But it's just I used to have that, and it's not something that I got rid of because I wanted to. It's just like shit, man. I used to have that. It brought back a lot of memories of like owning that and just having so much fun with it because it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, we're
so I was just gonna say, going back to the whole thing you were saying about him not having like a role model in his life and everything is talked about Lupe Fiasco. There's a song called "Bitch Bad," and I think it really sums up what you were just talking about, which is "Bitch Bad" is a story about a guy and a girl and how they both see the term "bitch" in different ways. Mm-hmm. He sees it in one way, that a bitch is a bad person. Right. Like it's like here's a woman that does bad things and she's a bitch, and she sees it as as a positive thing. It's like, look at me, I'm a tough bitch, I'm a cool bitch.
Right.
And so when she refers to herself as bitch, she sees it one way, he takes it a different way.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's interesting song. So so those of you listening to this, check it out. But you talk about that, and it's like his view on women. It's like, if he didn't have if he didn't have a father in his life and he didn't have a good connection with his mother, then he probably views women in a different way.
Yeah.
Because of that, and it just reminded me of that song. It's just like how you can have both of you see things from a different perspective because of how you were raised. He was raised one way, and so he equates that term to that, as where she was raised a different way and she sees it in a different fashion.
Yeah, I'll have to check that song out. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you see with Chris Chan. Like, he had no relationship with his dad. Like, his dad was the disciplinarian of the family. And he had to
stop chopping shit down, then maybe they could have connected in some way.
He had to cut the internet down, man.
Couldn't he just type Google into Google?
I don't think he quite understood internet things, if you will. He was not an IT worker.
Okay.
But he was a lumberjack through and through. But yeah, no, I mean, like, and Chris's dynamic with his mother, I think, views his approach to women. Because even though Chris is very much an incel and was very much like, I only want a woman in my life to lose my virginity, it was also that when trolls would ask him, what do you want out of a relationship? It was, I want to be a stay-at-home house father, house husband, and I want to keep the home while she goes out and works and earns this stuff. And it's basically like he viewed his mother as a source to provide for all of his needs while he just does his own thing, stays home, plays PlayStation, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's, like, seeing that dynamic out of Chris Chan's life, that is kind of why I feel the way I do towards Urban White Trash. I think it's the same kind of scenario.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. It's just interesting. We're breaking down these people, not really knowing anything more about them than that. But
yeah, it's like we learned the shit out of like a 30-minute documentary.
But in some cases, sometimes you can really pick up on little things like that from just if you've seen things before. It's kind of like you go to a doctor doesn't have to do a thorough exam on you. They say a couple things like, oh yeah, I recognize these symptoms here.
Right. Yeah.
We could be completely off, and we could just be just like 15% correct, but there's certain things that you see and patterns of behavior, and it's like, yeah, it keys into these things that you've seen before.
Yeah, like last time I went to the doctor and he was just like, oh my god, you're ugly.
Yeah. And yeah, last time I went to the doctor and I was like, baby, please, I am not from Havana. She still charged me for the visit too, which I thought was kind of weird.
She said, what a nice guy.
I thought I was doing her a favor. Talk about a Hippocratic oath.
Hot Dr. Milf bangs. what was it? Creepo the fuckboy. All caps real.
You know what? You know what's gonna happen? First off, next time I go to the doctor, she's gonna be somehow have heard this episode. She's gonna slap me and be like, "That shit wasn't real." And
I was faking it the whole time.
And then she's gonna be like, "But Kevin, you're my stepbrother." I'm gonna be like, "Oh, jeez, no. Oh God, no."
I need to do a shirt design. If we ever start getting enough views to warrant doing some merch, I'm gonna do a shirt design of some big buff shirtless guy saying, "But Kevin, you're my stepbrother." Oh God, it's really funny.
How long have we been doing this? We're talking about these losers. I mean, these guys. Sorry.
We've been at it for an hour now.
Oh, jeez. I wouldn't have... Why is it that something only takes 30 minutes? We talk about for like an hour.
I knew we'd get a good episode out of this. That's why I wanted you to watch it.
We got an episode out of it.
It was pretty good.
So I'm just going to say I don't have money to save the rainforest. I'm sorry, the Australian, brush fire or any Aborigines. I don't need nude pictures of you.
Of me? Well, I'm not offering.
No, not you. But I'll say, but Christina Hendricks, if you are looking for someone to just kill some time with, I understand that after a relationship, everybody needs, just that person that they use to get their mind off the other person before they go looking for a serious relationship.
You just want to be her rebound?
I am available. I am.
Christina Hendricks, I would fight on the front lines of the bloodiest battle and come back with no arms and no legs if it guaranteed me a chance with a big titty redhead.
I'm just going to tell you, if that ever happened, I would cuck you so bad. I would put your legless, armless body in a chair and tie you to it. And I would fuck her. And I would, like, sometimes I would do it really good when she's like, "Oh my God." And other times I would just do it really bad, like real quick. Like, "You're done already?" "Yes, because I can be."
It'd be like the New Year's scene in Forrest Gump where Lieutenant Dan falls out of his wheelchair. Like, "Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! You piece of shit!"
And I look at you square in the eye the whole time.
And I would say, "But Turk, you're my stepbrother."
"I thought he was your friend. Don't you want to help him?" Shit, I just gave him some. That's what you get for writing checks, bitch.
I hope Advanced gets the opportunity to be with his fat, ugly white chick, so that he can say, "Are you an angel?" "I used to be able to fly a pod racer, but I don't got no arms and legs now."
I did think she was an angel, but then I thought to myself, why would an angel eat devil's food cake?
Hey, that's enough. You should save some for other people. Okay, never mind.
Right now, like, Christina Hendricks is pulling out her iPad and she's pulling up list of people that I would do if there was no one else available. And she's like, Turk 182, backspace, some other guy. Save.
All bold, Advanced. But no, I think we should probably wrap this one up.
Yeah, we should have done that like 20 minutes ago.
No, this has been funny. Right. It's all so adorable, but you can't have it. Join the Dud to Stud boot camp today.
Yeah. Operators are standing by.
Later, everybody.
Bye.
Did you hear what happened?
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.